Mike, when you look at what we heard from FOMC yesterday, is it clear that they prefer growth over inflation concerns?
I think what we heard yesterday is that they have a path which they intend to stick to unless they get a material event which changes the growth dynamics. You've had volatility, you've got the things we were talking about earlier with Syria and the China trade spat. The message out of the Fed minutes, I think, is we have a plan, and the plan is 2 to 3 hikes this year, which we think will get us towards neutral. We would argue probably pretty close to neutral, actually. And we'll see how things progress from there. But I think the message is, as long as growth holds in reasonably well, they think they're pretty much at full capacity, so they think they will get some pickup in inflation. Then moderate, slow and steady is.
But is the U.S. overheating? And actually, if it does, what does that mean for inflation?
It's pretty tough to say that the U.S. is overheating. I think if the U.S. was overheating, you'd see a sharper pickup in wages. I mean, you look at the average earnings numbers, and you've got to work pretty hard to get a strong upward slope in that. I mean, the Fed, as we know, still believes in the Phillips curve, so they believe that you will get some pickup in wages, but I think at the moment what they're saying is that the economy's going pretty well. We think it's still growing above trend. We think we're pretty close to full capacity. Inflation is below target. We think it's going to get there. Yeah, we've got this volatility around the sides, but our game plan is pretty clear, and we need something quite material to shift us off that game plan. I think that's the key message out of yesterday.
Mike, would you be advantaged if you had a Fed with Draghi-like discussion where they had a press conference at every meeting? I find absolutely absurd this idea of real meeting, unreal meeting. May 2nd, I believe, is an unreal meeting. I can't keep, only Michael McKee has this memorized. But I just don't get the idea of kind of like press conferences.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance that they, under the Powell Fed, that they move in that direction, because we do have this hiatus with every other meeting, and it creates some challenges. You know that any central bank wants to be in a situation whereby any time they move,
right,
they can be perceived as changing policy. And unfortunately, at the moment, you've got a situation whereby the Fed, with every other meeting, that you need something very, very surprising to happen to get them to move in one of those meetings where there's not a press conference. So I guess there's various ways you can do that. You could surprise the markets, but I don't think they're in the game of surprising the markets at the moment. But I suspect in the Powell Fed, there is a very live discussion going on about whether they should have a press conference at every meeting.